Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 52 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Wrestling podcast for Thursday, May 4th, 2017. I'm your host, Big T, right here with you, and we have a very special guest here with us tonight. We have Ring of Honor wrestling superstar, Mr. Shane Taylor, on with us tonight. How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for everybody listening. Very, very glad to be here.
And definitely glad to have you here. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be on the show.
Oh, for sure. No problem at all.
Well, Shane, let's get this interview off and running, and I'm gonna ask you the first question, and that question is, how old were you approximately when you reached that stage in your life when you discovered pro wrestling and you're like, this is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is my passion.
First, it's an interesting question because it's a two-part answer. The first part is I knew it was something that I loved at an early age. My dad is friends with Lee Haney, and so when the Gold's Gym was around in Cleveland, in like the Ridgefield, Ohio area, because you remember back when the Ridgefield Coliseum was up, right?
Oh yeah, I actually live in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh yeah. So back in the day, there was a place called the Ridgefield Coliseum, for those that don't know, and that's where WWF would come, and they would, when they came out on tour, that's where they would go. So my dad got to lift with a lot of the guys when they were on the road, so I had memories of being a kid just rolling around weights in the room, watching my dad lift with the Road Warriors and all kind of guys like that, and watching them lift ungodly amounts of weight, and not really, grasping the magnitude of what they were doing until I, of course, got into, weightlifting and training later and realizing just exactly what I was witnessing. So I knew early on, seeing these larger than life guys, and they were just incredibly big, incredibly athletic people, that those guys were special, and I wanted to be special like that one day. I remember being 8 years old and him taking me to the Coliseum, and I remember watching Kerry Von Erich against the Warlord, and the match went to a double count out, and I watched an entire building full of people absolutely lose their minds. And I don't mean just booing. I'm talking about throwing stuff. I'm talking about losing their minds over a double count out, right? And I remember thinking to myself right then, at 8 years old, going, I want to have a job that I can affect people like that. I want people to react to me that way. Not necessarily booing and throwing stuff at me, but to be able to control, a whole arena full of people that I had never met before in my life. That's an incredible amount of power. That's an incredible platform to be on, to be able to affect that many people. But I had no idea, how to get involved with wrestling other than just knowing, Vince McMahon, other than that, than that outlet, I had no idea what anything else was, and then in the subsequent years, looking at Japanese wrestling tapes and the AWA, the NWA, and dealing with stuff like that, it became more of my passion, and it became more of a focus and more of my drive to figure out how to do it. And then, of course, as you get older, you your dreams take a backseat to reality. So I started amateur wrestling in like 7th grade, all the way through college, playing football and track and things like that. And it wasn't until probably my sophomore or junior year of college, which was about around 2007, that I ran across a buddy of mine that I knew in high school, and you know him as Raymond Rowe.
Oh yeah.
Currently, New Japan Pro Wrestling's one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, with Hanson, collectively known as War Machine, former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, global superstars. I wrestled him in high school, like my school wrestled his school in St. Ignatius versus Normandy, and we didn't link up again until 2007. He was tag teaming with my other trainer, who goes by the name of Jerry Myers, aka JRock. He actually just had a match on Ring of Honor TV in Baltimore. So it's good to see, both guys who are responsible for me even being here in this industry, on a national and international level. But once I hooked up with them in 2007, they kind of took me under their wing and trained me and showed me the things to do, showed me the things not to do. I really kind of looked out for me, and ever since then, man, the rest has kind of been history. Just a lot of trial and error, a lot of of practice and training, and honing your craft to try to be the best performer, the best wrestler that you can possibly be.
And it's interesting that you bring up Raymond Rowe and JRock, because I've seen Raymond Rowe wrestle at indie promotion actually up here in Cleveland, AIW, Absolute Intense Wrestling. And JRock, I'm actually familiar with JRock because I seen him wrestle in a match at Willoughby South High School when EC3, Ethan Carter III, made his homecoming back to Willoughby, Ohio, and JRock was part of the show, and they wrestled each other. It was a great, great match.
Oh, of course. I mean, and I wouldn't expect anything less from either of those men. Both of them are world-class talents. Obviously, to see what EC3 has done in TNA, and the things he's been able to do all throughout his career are impressive. And for JRock to have a hand in so many of those guys being successful and going on to do great things, it's only a testament to what he can do as well. And the kind of guidance that he gives. When you look at his track record, whether it be guys like John McChesney or Bill Collier or EC3 or Raymond Rowe or myself, somewhere along the line it all comes back to him. It's one of those things where, again, I'm incredibly proud to see him finally start to get the recognition outside of the Midwest area that he's had coming for a long time.
What's it like training with JRock when you first started your training and you had to learn the basics and the ins and outs of the ring? What was it like getting started?
I mean, it was tough, like any wrestling school worth anything would be. For me, coming from an amateur background and coming from an athletic background, I think I assimilated to the process easier than some. So for me, I've never shied away from hard work. I've never shied away from something being challenging or tough. So for me, for as difficult as it was, I was ready to do what I needed to do to be successful, and my mindset remains the same, to this very day, and it will continue to do so. So I mean, it was, to answer your question, it was tough. I mean, it was what I needed at the time, and it was what has prepared me for, the physicality that your body takes when you dream of a career in this sport.
And after you went through all those hard days and nights of training, because I'm sure it was a lot of hours put in, a lot of hard work, and after you go through all that, and you finally get the word, from your trainer that's, you're ready to go out there, you're ready to test the waters, and when you got that news that you were able to do that, and when you got your first match, who was your first match against, and what was it like walking the aisle and stepping into the ring for the first time after your training?
The feeling itself was surreal, because you train so hard for a goal, and while it's in the distance, every day it's a step closer, So when I got the word that I was gonna have my first match, I was extremely excited, as anyone would be. Was nervous, scared, was anxious, hesitant, but I was ready, and I was excited, and I was confident at the same time. My first match was actually in Paynesville, Ohio, for a company called New Era Pro Wrestling, and that was against JRock himself.
Wow.
That was one of those things. Yeah. So when you're in there, there is the familiarity that you have with someone that you've known for a long time, but also trying to compete against them. You know their strengths and their weaknesses. He knows your strengths and your weaknesses. So it's really about execution at that point. And when you talk about the experience edge and things like that, walking into the ring for your very first match against the person who helped train you is a tall order for anybody, no matter who you are. So it was definitely a learning experience, and it was one that I will always remember, and that I always think back to and draw knowledge from, and one that I will always be grateful for.
That had to be an amazing feeling, It really has to be.
For sure.
Teacher versus student. I mean, that's you can't get much better than that, really, for your first time around, unless you're against one of your family members,
Oh, for sure.
So you go through that. You have your first match. You get that feeling. You take what you learned from it, and from that point, it's just moving on forward. And tell us, some things that you did in the indie scene before you worked up to Ring of Honor after you faced JRock in your first match. What was some of your favorite highlights and things that you did in your career, and some of your highlights, your highlight work before Ring of Honor came calling?
Oh, wow. All right. Well, you're talking about a 9-year span then. All right. So going back to the earlier years, I believe towards the later end of my first year, I think I actually won the New Era Pro Wrestling Triple Crown Championship. So within my first year, I had won a championship there, so I felt pretty good about that. And then, man, just going to so many different promotions like the International Wrestling Cartel in Pittsburgh, or the Renegade Wrestling Alliance in McKeesport there, in Pennsylvania, Pro Wrestling Express, and also in Pittsburgh. Mega Championship Wrestling in Elyria. I've never really worked for AIW in Cleveland. That's one of the last places that I would probably have to check off the list. But I wrestled for different places in Cleveland, and those are always great. Being away for so long, to have my family come and be able to see me do what I do is always a bonus, always extra motivation. Winning championships in any promotion that I've been in, that's been an incredible highlight for me. I've been extremely lucky and extremely blessed to be surrounded by such quality people, and some of those are by choice, and some of those are just being in the right place at the right time. I've gotten to wrestle 4 or 5 times now in the EC3 arena in Philly. That's watching that as a kid and then being able to perform there myself is a highlight of mine, and something that I always look forward to. As a matter of fact, I get to do that again in the next few months, like 2 more times, because I think we end up we round off the World of Worlds tour for Ring of Honor in Philly, and then June 10th for Wildcat Sports, I go there again. So that's so those are going to be 2 big shows for me, and 2 that I hold very dear, simply because of the venue that we're in. Yeah, man, just all the miles, all the matches, all my opponents, guys like John McChesney, guys like Bill Collier. I can go on, and if I'm forgetting anybody, I apologize. But there's so many people that I would want to thank personally that we just don't have time for. But man, it's been incredible. Like I said, I'm extremely blessed. And then 3 years ago, moving down here to Texas from the Midwest, getting to meet more people like George Carroll and Jack Dane and Luke Hawks, and wrestle for the places down here. For a while there, I was with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. I was down there, won tag titles down there. Was the heavyweight champion at Wildcat Sports on 2 separate occasions. First man to do that, and the first African American champion that they've had there. So that was a big thing for me. And then, of course, getting the call for my first ROH show, I believe it was about a year and a half or so ago, in San Antonio. Getting that call and being able to go out and show what I could do, and have them like that enough to continually call me back until we get to a point like today where I'm a fully contracted ROH superstar. I'm getting ready to do my first tour with them. I'm going to wrestle in Canada for the first time on Sunday, May 7th, against one of the toughest and one of the biggest stars in the world in New Japan Pro Wrestling's Hiroki Goto. Man, to be just a kid from Cleveland, Ohio, man, to be able to say that I've done the things that I've done, and it's nothing when compared to the things that other people have done. But to me, man, every day is a blessing to me, because I could have just been, especially in that city, I could have just been another statistic. I could have just been another kid that just fell through the cracks, and it could have happened very easily. But to be that kid from Cleveland and grow up there, see the things that I've seen, and to be able to be where I'm at now, to me, I couldn't ask for a better story for my career, and I'm just getting started. So I'm extremely lucky. I'm extremely blessed, and I'm extremely grateful for the people that I have surrounding me, the people who believe in me and give me opportunities to provide for my family and to showcase my talent. I'm extremely grateful to Ring of Honor for believing in me and putting their faith in me and investing in me to be able to be one of their stars going forward. And I fully plan on making every single person that has ever watched me perform, every single person that has ever bought a piece of merchandise, every single person that tunes in to Ring of Honor, I promise that I am going to make all of you seem very, very, very smart because your faith and your investment will be well placed, and I'm going to go on and do some really great things. And man, it's really incredible for me to even have that much support and that love, and I just look forward to making you all proud.
And I'll be rooting for you because I'll be here rooting for you because you know what, I know what it's like, living over here in Cleveland and
yeah, man. I mean, like people think like people that aren't from Ohio hear Ohio and they think like Iowa. You know what I mean? Like that's what they think. Like they think it's all like cornfields and things like that. And there's a lot of farming in Ohio, but like when you talk about cities like Cleveland, it's incredible to me that people always think like shit like they'll throw out your Chicago's and your Comptons and your things like that. But when you talk about the crime and the violence in just the east side alone, right? You're talking about such a smaller area with such a higher crime rate. It's incredible to, for anybody to be savvy enough to make it out of that situation. And I fully believe that that's why when you see someone that's made it out of that, they're always special. They're always special because it takes a special kind of person to make it out of an environment like that, whether it be a JRock, whether it be a Shane Taylor or a Ray Monroe or even a Johnny Gargano, to be able, or Dolph Ziggler, the Miz, all those guys are from Cleveland. All those guys, now the circumstances are different, I'm sure, for each of us, but I know especially for me and Ray, we've been through it all. We've seen it all, and we've seen the worst of it, and we're standing on top of the world right now. So it takes a special individual with capable strength of mind, character, to be able to come from a place like that, and not fall into not fall into the traps and fall between the cracks, like so many other people do.
Yeah, to actually make it out and be a success, it's just it's incredible, and it's a great story, and trust me, I wish you nothing but she's on that Ring of Honor World title, I can imagine, and
of course, I want everything. Like people ask me all the time, like, what do you want to accomplish in Ring of Honor? And for me, man, like I am of the mindset, and this was told to me, and I believed this my whole life, but when I heard it, it clicked. And the phrase is loyal to those loyal to me. Ring of Honor is the company that gave me my shot. Ring of Honor is the company that believes in me and has invested time into me. Other places, either thought I wasn't talented enough or didn't look the way they wanted, but other people were going to be bigger stars than me. And that's fine. They're entitled to their opinion, but what that does is motivate me not only to prove those people that believed in me right, but to prove those that believed in me absolutely dead wrong. So for me, my goal now and for the rest of my career, God willing, is to be a Ring of Honor superstar and to, build the company, build the brand, and build myself as high as we can possibly go. And in order to do that, I need to not just win matches, but I need to win championships, and I need to dominate competition. So as far as I'm concerned, I want everything. Yes, the Ring of Honor World Title is a goal. I know there are steps that I have to take before I get there. The Ring of Honor World Six-Man title, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, the Ring of Honor Television title. I want it all. I want it all, man. I am going to be so greedy about that. I want everything. I want people to know, and I want Ring of Honor to be synonymous with my name. When you hear guys' names like Adam Cole, you think Ring of Honor. You hear Samoa Joe, you think Ring of Honor. Even though Samoa Joe is somewhere else now, that's what people remember. When you hear the name Jay and Mark Briscoe, you think Ring of Honor. And I want my name to carry just as much weight, if not more. I want those letters to be just as synonymous with my name, if not more. So when it comes to having those plans and having those goals, one day I do truly believe that I will be Ring of Honor World Champion. And until that day, I am taking everything else in sight. That's how I see it.
Hey, and your top goal has to be the Ring of Honor World Title. For any company that you're with, that has to be your main goal. And because that's what you're there for. Not only to have a great career, but you also want to be successful. And,
of course.
That's what you're striving to be.
And I think for all wrestling fans, I think the Ring of Honor World Championship is synonymous and has been, since its inception, as being the best wrestler in the world, that they hold that championship. Whether you're talking about Nigel Guinness, or whether you're talking about Bryan Danielson, or whether you're talking about Jay Lethal, whether you're talking about Samoa Joe, whoever you want to mention that's held that championship even once, they are synonymous with being the best wrestler in the world. The only other champion that I think can even come close to an argument with that would be the New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP Heavyweight Champion. That also, with the legacy and the tradition that they have, the lineage of the title. When you talk about the AJ Styles and the Nakamura's and the Naitos and the Okadas, you're talking about the two premier premier wrestling companies on the planet. And so being either Ring of Honor World Champion or the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, you can lay claim to being the best wrestler on the planet. Me personally, and this is a goal that I've only told, just those closest to me. But something that I would love to have, that I would love to happen, would be the only man in history to be able to hold both of those titles at once. Not just the Ring of Honor World Championship, but the IWGP Heavyweight Championship as well. As far as my knowledge goes, no one's ever done it, and I would love to be the first to do it. I know there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of guys standing in my way to do that. But I mean, hey, I've come this far, and I've beaten the odds so far. So what's one more goal on the list?
You know what? That's true, man. After everything that you've been through and everything that you want to accomplish and that you're striving to accomplish, you know what? One more goal, it doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
Let's take a little bit of a little step and talk about when you first got signed to Ring of Honor and you first ended up going into the Ring of Honor Dojo, and what was it like to walk into the Ring of Honor Dojo for the first time? Because I heard that could be a really special place.
Well, that's what I hear. Me personally, I've never been there. That's where literally 99% of the people that end up getting signed to Ring of Honor, that's where they go. I know they have the tryout camps, and they do that, and those are all ways to, if you're young or old, aspiring wrestler trying to get noticed there, that's the route that I would go. Would be going to the camps and going to the Ring of Honor Dojo. But me, with living in Texas, and just kind of how it worked out, and again, I'm very, very lucky. I didn't have to go to the dojo. I signed with Ring of Honor this past December. After probably about a year or so, year and a half of doing shows for them all across the country, whether they be in Texas or whether they be in Tennessee or Georgia or the Carolinas or wherever. So after about that year and a half or so, I had done enough for them to believe in me enough to invest that time and invest that money into me and sign me to a deal.
Oh, cool. Now, once you got signed a deal and they brought you in, do you remember what your first ever ROH match was and who it was against and what it felt like walking down the ROH aisle for that first time?
Now, are you talking about my first ROH match after signing or the very first one ever?
You know what? Let's go with the very first one ever.
The very first one ever was in San Antonio against Romantic Touch. Actually, correction. The very first one was against Jay Diesel. And then the second one was against Romantic Touch. Yeah, I remember being extremely nervous, but again, being supremely confident. I'm a huge fan of Mike Tyson. So something that he used to say when he would go to the ring kind of is the same mantra that I play in my head as I walk to the ring, and that's what gives me that bounce in my step and that those expressions that I have on my face when I go to the ring, a lot of people have asked me about that. Why do you look so angry going into the ring? And it's not anger. It's confidence. Tyson used to say, when he was in the back getting ready, he was afraid. He was scared. All the time training and leading up to this fight, he's envisioned his opponent beating him. He's envisioned his opponent hurting him. He's seen it. He's visualized. He's dreamed about it. He's dreamed about this man taking away everything he's worked so hard for. And as he gets ready, he starts to get more and more confident. At each step he walks, each step he takes towards the ring, that fear starts to die down, and he becomes more and more confident. The closer he gets to the ring, the more he starts to believe, the more that fear dissipates. And the part that stuck to me was when he said, once I step through those ropes, I'm a god. Nobody can touch me. And in no way, shape, or form am I comparing myself to God. So I don't want folks to be like, oh, Shane Taylor said this. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is the confidence that you need to go out and perform and be at your best, and the confidence to not only perform at your best, but get the best out of your opponent. To me, you have to have supreme confidence. You have to have no doubt in your mind as to how great you are. So for me, I kind of live that mantra every time I step into the ring, every time I'm walking down that ramp, whether it be an ROH ramp or any ramp, but especially there because of the talent. When I am taking those steps to the ring, I become more and more confident. When I am walking and I see those people and I see them looking at me and I know what time it is, I get more and more confident. And by the time I step through those ropes, that's exactly how I feel. When I walk through those ropes, I'm like, God, nobody can touch me. That's an incredible feeling to have, and it is an incredible high, and it is an incredible rush to be at that platform, to be at that level, to face that competition. So from the very first match that I had against Jay Diesel up until the very last one that I just had, that mindset stays there. That mindset is the same, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to be bigger, with more experience there, and more success there, because I will be able to draw from those experiences and draw from those moments to further that confidence.
And you know what? Everything you just explained, I think everybody will be able to understand it well, and I think it's going to resonate with everybody because you know what? You need that kind of confidence if you're going to go out there and be at your absolute best. And
absolutely.
You need to be in a certain place in your mind where, yeah, you can't be touched because that means you're the best in the world. So
absolutely.
I totally.
Absolutely. And to anybody out there, sorry, but to anybody out there that's like, oh, well, it's cockiness, it's not. It's imagine, think about guys like Tom Brady. Think about guys like Jordan. If you don't get anywhere in life, you especially don't get to a level like that, an elite type level like that, with having doubt and self-limitation, hold so many people back. When Tom Brady steps on that field, he has no doubt in his mind that he's the best player on that field whether he is or he isn't is irrelevant. In his mind, the way he thinks, he is the best player on that field. There is nothing that the defense is going to do. There is nothing that the coordinators are going to do. There is nothing that the refs can do. There is nothing that the fans can do. When he steps foot on that field, he is going to destroy every single person across from him. The same mentality that Jordan has, the same that LeBron has, the same that Kobe has. Anybody great in any avenue in life, at anything, not just sports, but at anything. I don't care if you're a CEO. You walk into that boardroom knowing there's nobody that's going to be able to hold a candle to your presentation, that's going to have a better idea than you, nothing. You walk into there with the supreme confidence of knowing you are untouchable. That is the type of confidence that I'm talking about. And it's not cockiness, it's not arrogance. It is simple, it's belief. A wholehearted belief in what you do and what you're capable of and the abilities that you have and the work that you put in. So that, to me, learning how to do that and learning how to actually believe that, it's not just about training your body, but training your mind. Because when your mind is at its best, your body can do nothing but follow. So that's just one of those things that I always have to, that I feel obliged to explain to people, so no one mistakes what I'm saying as being cocky or arrogant. It is simple belief, belief that you are put here to do something, and that when you find it, the belief that you are the absolute best at what you do, and going out there and executing and performing like it.
That's 100% right. Because if you have any doubt and you let that doubt creep into your head, I mean, you know what's gonna happen. It's over. And you can't have that if you're trying to get in the ring with someone that has the same goals as you or has the same aspirations that you do, because you want to be better than him. And that's exactly what it is. And I'm glad that you broke it down that way, because that's the perfect way to break it down.
Hey man, like I said, I've been blessed to be taught by people and have people surrounding me that have completely changed my outlook on a lot of things, and they've changed it for the better. So learning from them and changing my mindset and changing my way of doing things in order to be able to think the way that I do now, train the way that I do now, is all a testament to learning as a person, to learning and growing as a man, and having the people around me that tell me the truth at all times and sincerely have my best interest at heart. So it's only right that I explain it to people a certain way, because that's how it was explained to me.
Totally understand. Now, I got a few more questions here for you, and a couple of them are going to be fun, and a couple of them are going to be maybe a little bit on the serious side. But where I want to go next is we know your goals, we know your aspirations and everything with Ring of Honor, and we wish you nothing but the best, and we wish you all the success in the world. I want to kind of go back and this goes for your whole career, out of everything that you've ever done, out of everything that you've ever accomplished. Who was your favorite match with, and who was your favorite feud with, out of everything that you've done?
career's not done yet. You know, I still have a lot of years left to go, so I have no idea what the future holds. So my answer may change. But if we're talking up until this moment, my favorite feud so far is one that has been there since my first day, and that's myself against Raymond Rowe. We wrestled all across the country. Hopefully, one day soon we'll be able to change that and make it all across the world. You know, he's doing great things in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. And as much as I love the guy, I would love nothing better than to be able to go to Japan and punch him in the face. You know, so for me, that's one of those. And I am in no way, shape, or form like comparing it to like Rock Austin or anything like that. But the rivalry that we have is one that is very unique because we both come from the same place. Our history is very closely tied. And if you were to describe our life to someone without them seeing who it was, you really can't tell much of a difference except for certain aspects, you know. We're almost mirror images of each other in thought process, in the way we handle ourselves, in the way we do things, the way we attack goals, and the way we compete. So for me, to be able to have that ongoing rivalry, that ongoing feud, you know, not just, you know, in independence, but now on a national, international level, I feel like that's always going to be, you know, my favorite opponent and my favorite feud. No matter how physical the match, no matter how brutal, no matter how violent, stepping into the ring against him is always something that I look forward to.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, let's see, where could we go to next? These will be a couple of fun ones, I think, for you. Like you know, you stated, you know, your career's just getting going. You got a long way to go, but you know, at the point you're at right now, at this present time, who would be? This will be like a two-part question. Who would be your number one dream opponent? You know, and that could be living or wrestler that's living or a wrestler that has passed away or somebody that's retired. Like, who would be your number one overall dream opponent? And the second part to that would be, who would be the number one active wrestler in the world out of any organization that you would like to face?
Oh, okay. Okay. As far as an opponent of all time, I think Shane Taylor versus Vader at the Tokyo Dome would be my dream scenario if that could have been a thing. With honorary mentions to Taker and Stan Hansen, those would be the only other guys that could top him. But I fully think with my style versus his, it would have made for an incredible battle between two tough guys. And in that setting, in that environment, it's only going to bring the best out of both of us. So I feel like Shane Taylor versus Vader would be my choice for you know, for all time dream opponent. Now, if we're talking about active guys right now, man, there are so many talented guys in this sport. It's really hard to just pick one. Oh man, to achieve great success in this business outside of the normal way that people do it, especially being an African American, you tend to get stereotyped and put into boxes. And it's not just us, but it's you tend to get stereotyped and put in boxes and put in and seen in a certain light. So the respect that I have for him to be able to transcend that and break through those ceilings and accomplish what he's accomplished off his own merit, off his own charisma, and just being a great wrestler and being great at what he does. To me, that's one of the reasons that I would love to have the match. Also, because he's so gifted technically and because he's so skilled, I think it would be a great clash of styles. You have a technician versus a brawler. A grappler versus a striker. And to me, that would be a great matchup and a great contrast of styles.
I would like to see it. You know what? And hopefully, dare I say, down the line in Ring of Honor, maybe Jay Lethal will get that title back, and it'll be you challenging Jay Lethal.
Maybe, man. I mean, hey, we're both in the same place at the same time. It's the locker room is only so big. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like down the line, at some point, barring anything catastrophic on either of our ends, I feel like it's bound to happen. And who knows what the details surrounding it will be. Maybe one of us has tag team gold and the other is challenging for it. Maybe it's the world television title. Maybe he wins the ROH world title again. Who knows? But in any shape or form, in any capacity, stepping in the ring with him would be great. And then it would just be a shame that I would have to put him down like everybody else. But stepping in there with him and being able to compete and test myself would be would really be cool.
And I would love to see the match. Believe me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, currently in Ring of Honor, we'll get to your current situation in a little bit. But I got one more fantasy question, so to speak, to throw at you before we get to the here and now.
Right.
Out of everything that you've done and out of all the goals that you have, if there would be a day, sometime down the line, say if, it could be somewhere like New Japan or, even the organization up north, the WWE. If you were to get a phone call or get an offer from, say, WWE, do you think, considering the situation that you have in Ring of Honor, do you think going somewhere like the WWE is that like your number one goal, your main goal? Do you think you would ever take an offer if one from them would be on the table, or are you happy where you are, and would you prefer to be one of those professional wrestlers that make a name for yourself outside of WWE without having to go under that umbrella?
Okay. I'm going to answer this question very, very carefully, and I'm doing that for a reason. You can never say never, so I don't know. But I'm the type of person that is driven by, for as much as people talk about motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that can-do spirit, and they just want to go out there and be the best that they can be, and that's what motivates them. That doesn't motivate me. It's a factor for sure, but what motivates me is anger. That's what motivates me. People doubting me, people telling me that I'm not good enough, people telling me what I can and can't be, people telling me that I'll never amount to this, people telling me that they don't see enough talent in me to do that. That's what pisses me off. That's what motivates me. So to have other people tell you that, to me, is an extremely big factor in a decision like that, because I'm the kind of person that not only am I going to show you that you were wrong, but I'm going to make you wish that you never even thought it.
Mm-hmm.
Genghis Khan used to say, "It's not enough that I win; all of my enemies must lose." That's the mindset that I carry in a decision like that. And granted, business is business, and you do what you can to take care of your family and the whole 9 yards. I get that, and in no way, shape, or form do I knock anybody for going and getting their money and doing what they love doing. But for me, I feel as though if I wasn't good enough for you then, don't come calling me now. You know what I mean? Like that's the mindset personally that I have. I understand business, and I understand, hey, times change. Sometimes you get better. Maybe you bring something to the table that you didn't bring before. I get all of that. I'm just simply talking about at my base, at my core thought process. You have, and I feel like maybe it's just pride, but think about if you wanted to date this girl, right, and she turned you down flat,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't drive the right car, you didn't look correctly, you didn't have the right connections, the whole nine. A few years go by, you see her again, and you're doing a lot better in life. You're successful. You're doing all of that, and you did it all without anybody's help. Like you did it without her. You did it without anybody. You did it by yourself. And now, do you think that same person, if you asked them out again, would be like, oh well, no, they'd probably be a little more interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like asking that girl out and her saying no. Then down the line, she going, "Hey, maybe we should catch up." And you're like, "No, there's no reason for me to catch up with you. Like, why would I do that?" So like that. Like that's the way I think about it. But honestly, man, like I would love to be like a Jay Briscoe and spend my entire career in Ring of Honor. I would love to have the experiences like Ray has and wrestle for New Japan. And the best part about the Ring of Honor and New Japan working relationship that they have is if I'm good enough and I work hard enough, I can have the opportunity to do that. To me, there's something very special and something very, 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 very admirable about staying in a company and committing yourself and your career to that company. No matter what offers come your way, no matter what, other people say, to be able to put a company like that on your back and say, follow me. You take a locker room full of the best wrestlers on the planet and you put them on your back and you say, follow me, guys, I got you. To me, that is incredible. And so I would love for one day for me to be able to do that, for me to be able to say that, to be able to lead a locker room of guys like that, and know that when my name is on the marquee, we're selling out venues. When my name is on a T-shirt, it's flying off the shelves. When my name, is on a championship, then that championship is the most prestigious in the company at the time. Those are the things that I want to accomplish, and those are the things that motivate me. So, as I said, never say never. You can never say never, and things happen the way they do. Circumstances change, and opportunities change. But I would be extremely happy being in Ring of Honor for the rest of my career. I would be extremely happy with being in Ring of Honor and also being in New Japan. So as it stands right now, I have no plans or desires to go anywhere except to stay in Ring of Honor and be the best that I can possibly be and motivate, a locker room full of world-class talent to be as great as they can be. And of course, the opportunity to potentially go to Japan and cross that goal off of my list, which would be a dream come true. That would be incredible. So I'm very happy doing what I'm doing now. There's a lot of work ahead of me right now, and there are a lot of goals ahead of me right now. So for right now, man, I think I'm good right where I'm at.
Perfect, and that's a perfect lead-in to where I'm gonna go to next as we're approaching the conclusion of the interview. Right now in Ring of Honor, what is your current role? Do you have any championships that you're contending for? Are you in a tag team or are you doing solo? What is your current role in Ring of Honor, and do you know what the upcoming plans are, like say in the very near future for you?
Right now, I am in a group with Kenny King, Rhett Titus, and Caprice Coleman, known as the Rebellion. Ring of Honor has always prided itself on, camaraderie and that fighting spirit and being stand up people and just hard work and professional wrestling at its core. And the Rebellion, for as much as people think that we're anti-ROH, we actually believe in those letters more than a lot of people do. We have no problem with those goals and those aspirations, but sometimes along the way to being successful and to growing, you lose sight of your original values. And so that is what the Rebellion is about. Challenging the status quo, challenging authority, challenging those that say that they know best and proving to them that they don't. Bucking the system, which is what Ring of Honor is. They are counterculture. They are, Ring of Honor is punk rock. Ring of Honor is the alternative, to what the machine says. So that's exactly what we are in the rebellion. You would think that, or you would hope that more people would get that, but it seems as though they look at us as the enemy versus a group of guys that have the same thought process and the same belief. But like we always say, one by one, we're going to start turning some heads, or we're going to start dropping some bodies. Either way, it works just fine for us. But as far as right now, as far as championships go, I mean, man, like I said when we talked about this before, I'm greedy, man. I would love to have those Ring of Honor World 6-man titles currently held by the Briscoes and Bully Ray. We had a shot in Baltimore, and it didn't go our way. But I fully believe if I get in there with them again and those belts are on the line, I will do whatever I have to do to make sure that the rebellion walks out with some Ring of Honor gold. And of course, you look at guys like the Young Bucks, who are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. I would love to get in there with them and take those titles from them. I would love to get in the ring with Marty Scurll and take his Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And of course, right now you have the King of the Hill, Christopher Daniels, the Ring of Honor World Champion. I know he's going against Matt Taven here very, very soon for the ROH title, world title, and it wouldn't matter to me if it was Daniels or it was Taven, but that's another goal. I want the Ring of Honor World Championship. For me, it's not so much about what anybody's plans are for me. It's about what my plans are for me. And sooner or later, those plans trump anything else that that could have been thought up for me. The way I see myself and in the direction that I'm taking myself is where I'm going to go. So as far as what anybody else has in store, I have no idea. My only focus right now, though, is getting ready for War of the Worlds Toronto, Sunday, May 7th, when I step into the ring against Hiroki Goto. That is my opportunity to not just further cement who I am in Ring of Honor and to turn some more heads, but that is giving me the direct opportunity to let everybody in New Japan Pro Wrestling know exactly who they're dealing with and exactly what is in store if I ever go over there. Because make no mistake about it, as greedy as I am for championships and for success in Ring of Honor, if I step foot in New Japan, I'm going to be just as greedy. So I'm talking about IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. I'm talking about the Never Overweight Championship. I'm talking about the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I want it all. And so for me, that's what drives me, and that's what I see for myself. I see everything. Now, does that mean that it's going to play out that way? Of course not. But like we talked about before, it's belief. I believe that I'm going to accomplish everything that I set out to accomplish. So until the day I'm proven wrong, that's exactly what I'm going to think. And that's exactly what I'm going to work for.
And you know what? You also did a perfect job in answering what is usually always my last question, and that is, what is next for Shane Taylor, but you answered that and hit the nail right on the head with War of the Worlds and bringing it to New Japan and showing them what you got.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to be in the ring with someone as admired and respected as Goto is huge for me. And this is an opportunity that very, very few people get. So I'm going to make the most of it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you got in store for everybody at War of the Worlds, and I hope you keep tearing through competition there in Ring of Honor. But I will turn the floor over to you on this. If you have anything that you'd like to promote as far as upcoming shows that you got within the next couple months or so, or links to you on social media, like social media accounts, or anything that you want people to know about you, websites or anything, let it rip. The floor is yours.
All right, sounds good. Guys, I want to thank you again for listening to this show. Continue to support this product as well as continuing to support me and Ring of Honor. If you would like to purchase, some merchandise, t-shirt, what have you, prowrestlingtees.com/Shane Taylor, bottomlinemerch.com/Shane Taylor. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Shane216Taylor. And if you're in Toronto, May 7th, come to War of the Worlds. I believe it's at the Reeve Center. But I know we're also going to Dearborn, Michigan, to New York at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and of course then to Philadelphia. So if you can be at any of those shows, go to ROHWrestling.com right now. If any of those shows are even close to you, check them out. Take the family. It's going to be a great time. Continue to watch ROH and continue to love professional wrestling.
And you know what, Shane? There's a reason why Ring of Honor says the best professional wrestling on the planet today.
Absolutely.
And that's because you guys bring it. It's not about. See, I've said this to my previous ROH guests, Beer City Bruiser and Shaheem Ali. What I love about Ring of Honor is it's not about the entertainment. It's like, yes, what you guys do as far as in your matches, is to entertain the crowd. But just hear where I'm coming from for 1 second. It's not about these like soap opera like entertainment angles. You guys go out there and give the entertainment in the form of wrestling along with a good story, rather than just a lot of stories and really not that much wrestling along with it. You guys pack in the wrestling, and that's what I love. Ring of Honor wrestling's in the name, and you guys give a quality wrestling product, when some products just prefer to give the entertainment aspect without the wrestling.
Oh yeah, I mean, and one of the ways that I heard it put, and that has stuck with me was, in this business, some people prefer sports entertainment. Other people love to see it as an entertaining sport, and that's what Ring of Honor does. We're an entertaining sport. And that's what we pride ourselves on. That's what they've done for 15 years now. And if I have anything to say about it for the next 15, they're going to be doing the same thing.
And there's nothing like it. I mean, you guys really do have a special brand.
Absolutely.
And just to see how Ring of Honor, another thing that I love to speak about Ring of Honor is, how you guys have Ring of Honor, and then you guys will do special shows like the Women of Honor shows, and then the Future of Honor shows. I mean, I love it. It's like it's like the whole ROH brand, but yet they're showing you all the different parts that they have. Like, hey, we don't only have ROH, our regular brand. We also got Women and Women of Honor, and we got Future and Future of Honor. That Future is what's gonna be coming up to the Ring of Honor.
Of course, I mean, and that's all about expanding your brand and expanding your market and including everyone, having a little something for everyone. Whether you prefer to watch women's wrestling, we have that with the Women of Honor with Kelly Klein and Sumi Sakai. We have the Future of Honor. I believe I was on one of those episodes against Tim Hughes and Brutal Bob Evans. So we show you these things as a company because we want to include everyone. We want there to be something for everyone to enjoy when they turn on Ring of Honor. So yeah, it's an incredible time now, and the company is growing by leaps and bounds. And I couldn't be prouder of the work put in, not just by the guys in the ring, but the guys behind the scenes, the camera crews, the everybody in production, everybody at Sinclair, and everybody in the front office committed to making this as big as we possibly can. It speaks volumes to everybody's hard work. And again, with everybody doing exactly what they're doing right now and striving to be better every day, it's only going to be bigger. It's only going to be better.
That's right. It can only go up, from here. And I just want to, I know, of course, because I'm very familiar with the Ring of Honor brand, but I want you to talk about this to the fans real quick before we end the interview. What is the biggest pay-per-view that ROH has to offer for the fans, which is basically like your your WrestleMania, so to speak, that every ROH superstar strives to be on that card? And is it your goal to make it on that card, or have you been a part of that card as of yet?
I mean, I would feel like there are a few of them that everybody loves, but I do believe the Best in the World pay-per-view is one of their bigger shows of the year and one of their biggest moments, if not the anniversary pay-per-view. But I do believe the Best in the World one, the Best in the World pay-per-view, is the one that everybody steps their game up on, because that's exactly what the name implies. You were talking about the best wrestlers in the world. You were talking about the best company in the world, the best talent. So on that stage with a name like that, it's a lot to live up to. So I think guys, on that night go above and beyond what even they thought their limits were to perform and do something special for the people in those crowds.
And that's coming up in about what, the next month and a half or so, sometime in June.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't have my date book right in front of me, but yeah.
Hey, I hope you're gonna be on the card, man. I want to see you walk that aisle at Best in the World. Did you ever have an opportunity to do that yet, or are you working towards your first one?
I have not. I've been on pay-per-views before, but not that one. Okay. So that will be the goal, as well as being on every single one, from here on out. So, but definitely walking in the best in the world. I want to be on that pay-per-view, and I want to have a great match and come out victorious against whoever my opponent may be.
Well, I'm definitely rooting for you, Shane, and I hope you get on that card this year and you get to experience that and cross another goal off your list. And hey, you know what? Maybe you'll even be able to come back on here and talk about it, because I was just gonna say if there'd ever be a time you'd like to come back on and update us on your journey and how you're doing, I would love to have you back to talk with us again.
The honor and the privilege would be mine, and I'd be glad to do it.
Sounds perfect. I was gonna say, Shane, when I, while I'm signing off with the audience, you can hang on hold, and then I'll, as soon as I sign off the air, I'll be right back on the line with you. So I just want to let you know that. But before I sign off to the audience, is there any last words that you would like to tell everybody here?
Yes. Like I said, man, I truly feel that when you have the platform to affect people and to change the world, you should do your best to try to do that. So if there's anybody out here that's listening or that will listen to this, and you're going through anything, or you've come from a place that I've come from, do not, under any circumstances, doubt how great you are. Do not doubt what you were put here to do. Do not doubt for a second what you're able to accomplish and what you're able to achieve, because the only limitations on you in this life are ones that you put on yourself. Nobody can touch you when you have a goal and you have a dream and you have a plan to go do it. So no matter what, no matter who, live that dream and work for it, and don't let anybody tell you differently.
Thank you, Shane. That's some great words of inspiration and words of wisdom there, and I hope that everybody listening will take those to heart. And I just want to say, on behalf of myself and behalf of all of the fans, thank you for coming on and giving us the time tonight, and thank you for going out there night after night and doing what you do, and putting your body on the line for the sake of our entertainment and our enjoyment. So I'm sure I speak for a lot of the fans out there when I say thank you, Shane, for doing what you do.
Thank you, guys, and I will gladly do it. If it wasn't for you guys, man, I wouldn't be able to lead the life that I do. So thank you, and as always, continue to support myself as well as Ring of Honor.
And thank you, Shane, and hold on the line. I will be right back with you in a second after I sign off with the live audience here. But ladies and gentlemen, you've just got through listening to episode number 52 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Wrestling podcast with very special guest Shane Taylor, who just told us a remarkable story of his remarkable journey, and I can't thank him enough for coming on the show tonight, and we look forward to having Shane back on in the very near future. So you guys take care. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you back next week for episode number 53 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Wrestling podcast. And you guys take care. I love you all, and we will talk to you all very soon. Good night, everybody.